Any time today, please, fellas.
It's because you said it.
No, here we are. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are out, and here we go then for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. And it looks as though Salmon's got a pretty decent start, should be able to cover Gareth off, but here comes a Haas through the middle of the two of them, straight away trying to split the pair, and both Haas drivers there. We've got a Ferrari off, Gareth's off as well at turn 1. It's a little bit messy behind, but it's a brilliant start from the Haas duo. Haas is into second and third, but it's still Salmon leading the way, Gareth down to 4th. We've got a McLaren in 6th and 7th by the looks of things. Jester losing a couple of positions already off the start, as you suggested could be the case. But here we go then. We've got battling going on in front. It's Lofty and Salmon going side by side into Lecon, but Lofty round the outside takes the lead of the race, but Salmon's going to try
It's a
and
crash
come
in the
back
back.
out, but can't do it. We've got a crash at the back. It looks as though we've got an Alfa Romeo off, and we've got a safety car already.
Absolute
and a few drivers getting
carnage.
penalties. What happened there?
My word. So I can't remember exactly which drivers. There was a move there, and it just wasn't entirely on. It was almost a you could send it, but you better be sure they're leaving space. And I think they left just about enough space. I believe it might have been typical Swift and Geddes who made the original contact. But then it just turned into Piccadilly Circus, and one of the cars spun round, and then it was absolute carnage. A battering ram of an Alfa Romeo, I think Cohen came in, and he was the car that spun round, probably trying to take avoiding action through Lecom. But yeah, pretty scrappy. It had been relatively clean as well up until that point in the back of the pack. I think it was just the medium and the soft runners, you know, trying to get past. You don't want to lose out. And yeah, quite unlucky for those drivers, but safety car lap 1, leading for Hards. Are we going to see anyone go in?
Definitely, Hards can go to the end from here, so it's going to be interesting to see if anyone takes a chance. One driver that definitely will be in the pits is SLR Russell, missing half of his front wing, so he's going to have to pit. I was trying to just scroll through the rest of the guys here and see if anyone else has got damage. It doesn't look like they do. So, on the whole, despite there being an incident and a safety car coming out, we've still got 20 drivers left in the race and only one with damages. We see a lot of guys coming into the pits. What tyres are they going onto though? Let's have a look. It looks as though most are pitting either for fresh softs or the mediums. We've got Colden onto the hards, we've got Lofty onto the hards, and it was a fantastic start from Lofty, but he's conceded that track position and conceded the lead of the race to come into the pits and go for the aggressive one-stop strategy, pitting onto the hards to try and take them to the end. So into the lead of the race, he regains it, does Unreal Salmon. He's now got the Haas driver, the other Haas of Jack, in P2, and then it's a McLaren in 3rd, and that is Maxwell by the looks of things, because Steve-O as well has decided to pit for the hards to try and go to the end, as has Gareth. Cameron splitting Gareth and Lofty, in fact, on the soft, so he could definitely be a bit of an annoyance to some of these guys that are in now net, well, some of the net top positions. The only thing is that, like I say, the field spread can be quite large here, so if some of these guys do lose a bit of ground early on and can't make it up later, they get stuck behind a car or two, it does give those at the front an advantage. I mean, you've got Salmon and Jack, and it's Maxwell in P3, so he's had a pretty tidy start, has the Haas driver, the McLaren driver, sorry, up 8 positions already, of course benefiting by drivers pitting as well. But yeah, he's had a good start. He's on fresh mediums as well, so he's in fact jumped Jester and is on fresher medium compound tyres than him, so that's fantastic for Maxwell. But yeah, as I say, I mean, Salmon and Jack on their softs should definitely have an advantage, not only on the mediums runners, but definitely on the hards runners once this race does get restarted. So they've really got to try and push on in these early stages to really bridge that gap, because they'll be able though to pit onto the mediums later on in the race, so they'll have the tyre advantage from now until the end of the race. The only disadvantage they have is the sort of 15 or so seconds that they're basically handing to all the hard compound runners after effectively giving them a free pit stop. But this is definitely going to be interesting now, this early safety car really shaking things up with the strategy. And we've had one already. We were sort of saying how clean the division is. And, well, I mean, the fact that we've had a safety car and no one's retired kind of says it all, really. But you never know. We've had one this early on. Possibility that we do get another one too. But yeah, it's an interesting one. So we've got, I guess, Lofty in a net P1 for the time being, with Gareth in a net P2, Colden in a net P3, and Steve-O in net P4. I say net because these drivers don't have to pit again, but obviously it's not as clear cut as that, as Lofty is the highest up of those drivers, but he's in P11. So he's got a lot of cars in between himself and the top runners here, as we should hopefully only have one more lap under the safety car, and then we'll be able to get going again.
I think the hard runners have pulled a blinder, to be honest. I mean, we were discussing it beforehand as almost more of a hypothetical, like how often is there really a safety car on lap 1? But I'm just thinking, you mentioned field spread, and all of these hard runners, I can't see them sitting in a train for 10, 15 laps. Then just there will be gaps emerging, and then that means that whoever pits for the mediums or the softs respectively are going to have to make their way not through just one car, which is a relatively easy DRS pass. They're going to be trying to have to get through a DRS train effectively, and I know they're going to have the tyre advantage, but it isn't that big of a factor if someone knows how to manage their DRS and has DRS from a car in front, as Div 1 almost showed really how easy, if you're working together or just sensible almost, with Dylan and Bonnie, how they're able to fend off anyone who wanted to overtake them just by using DRS and ERS effectively. And these hard runners, you've got some smart drivers, as you said. Gareth, the old guard there, a winner of races, he likes his track, he's going to be sensible. Colden, Steve-O, Charlie, Lofty, all of these drivers aren't going to be stupid. They know what they have to do. They're a pit stop ahead effectively, and with any luck they'll be hoping for no more safety cars and just cruise to the end, being sensible about it, as safety car is in this lap.
Yeah, they'll definitely just want to try and settle into a bit of a rhythm, stay out of trouble, and they'll be able to hopefully take it smoothly to the end. But yeah, I mean, we talk about the field spread. The gap already, like if you look from Salmon, who's in the lead, to Lofty, it's like 7 seconds or so. And obviously they've not even got racing yet. So it kind of shows the advantage that you do have staying out in front, or, well, the immediate advantage anyway. But obviously that could all change. But yeah, I mean, giving 6 seconds up and and going on to hard compound tyres, it's a tall order.
Garrett's off.
I'd say the right one, as Garrett's got a 5-second penalty as well for collision with Cameron, but Salmon does start the restart. What happened there?
It looked as though he just thought everyone had gone, was just trying to walk his rears, and in an attempt to avoid a crash, went onto the grass. Obviously, didn't quite do it well enough and crashed it into Cameron. On the start he would have wanted.
Jester tried it down the inside and Maxwell into the source. Didn't quite pull it off this time round. It looks as though he's in the slipstream though.
Back
And I think he might try it down into Les Combes, as we are going to have a battle for P1 side by side. Then Jack and Salmon goes. We'll stay on board with Maxwell, as he's going to get a pretty good view of this. Salmon then loses the lead, as he did on the first lap, to a Haas driver. He loses it again on lap 4 to a Haas driver. But this time it's Jack taking the lead from him. Jester stays in P4, wasn't able to get past Maxwell, but Maxwell going deep and almost getting overtaken there. But yeah, already again Maxwell going deep. And now Jester, already right on the back. He's pounced on him after one little mistake, and they're going to go side by side, and Maxwell's turned in and he spun Jester round at Pouon there. And Jester's going to have to be careful as to when he rejoins here to avoid collecting another car, and does so, but it means he's dropped all the way to the back of the field, and that is really unfortunate for him. That's giving him a lot of work to do now, as we see Karen and Sprightly going side by side through Stavilo. The Racing Point driver going to try and re-overtake him to Blanchimont, but here comes Lofty then, already trying to make up some ground. He has a look into Blanchimont, but not going to go for it on this occasion. But is he going to try it into the bus stop? Goes to the outside on Sprightly, and he's going to try it on Cowan as well, as he has now the inside of the second part of the bus stop. Brilliant move there from Lofty, but Sprightly's going to try and get back past him as they head down into the source. We've got someone in the pit as well. Sprightly holds it on the inside and just about holds on to the position, but Lofty gets a good bit of traction there on the exit, and they're going to go side by side. Are they into Rouge and Radion? No, Lofty does the sensible thing, thinks about the long term, backs out, but Sprightly gets a big tank slapper on the exit there and has to concede the position as he goes off of the track. And well, Sprightly now as well gonna Lofty gonna try it on Geddes now as well as he goes down the inside into Lecom. Geddes backs out, Lofty later on the brakes, and he gets up into P8 as well. So after looking like he wasn't going to get any positions there, he got 2 for the price of 1, did the Haas driver. So he's making some good progress. He's put now 3 cars in between himself and Colden, who is his next immediate rival on the hard compound tyres.
Indeed he has, and crucially the gap to the leader is now 9.3 between Lofty and Jack, his teammate. So he already has pulled at least 5 seconds on his teammate at the very least. Just because he doesn't have to make another stop. Just to note, that he's pit onto the soft tyre. Oh, there's Ferrari around at the back. That's Charlie, I believe. No, not Charlie, it's Russell.
It's Russell, by the looks of things.
Yeah,
I think Charlie might have lost the position in the process. And we've got McLaren off as well, that's Steve-O. So Steve-O's gone on the exit of campus. That is a tricky chicane, a tricky bit of track there with the curbs and the Astro. Of course, it's where Giovinazzi lost it in the real-life Grand Prix, and Steve-O looks as though he's fallen victim to it as well. So Jack now over a second ahead of Salmon. This is big for the race. Salmon needs to try and use some of that battery to stay in the DRS. Both these guys doing pretty well as far as the battery is concerned. Maxwell then, as you say, 4.7 seconds off the lead, and he's now got Grumpy Orange coming right onto the back of him as they head up the hill. Grumpy Orange then, he's going to have DRS that's just been activated for this lap. It's going to be a pretty easy move by the looks of things. Pretty much already past him as they head to the DRS section as we've got a Renault off.
Swift.
That is typical Swift. He's facing the wrong way as well at the top of the hill. Somehow managed to drop the car and roll it all the way up there. And he's facing the wrong way, so things go from bad to worse for the Renault team as now Cameron and Geddes look to be battling out through Lecom. Geddes defending it well. Cameron trying around the outside, hitting the back of the Red Bull driver as he defended the middle of the road there, did Geddes.
Gareth and Colden went side by side. Colden went very deep, and Gareth has got the move done. Round just coming into no name corner. Nice move there from Gareth. The hard tyres seem to be working for no one except Lofty. Apparently, he's just absolutely loving these hard tyres. He's flying them. There's another yellow flag. Is that typical Swift having another incident? I think.
Yeah, bring out some yellow flags there. Cameron getting very close to the back of Geddes for the second time this lap into Puon there, as Geddes didn't carry quite as much speed as the Alfa Romeo driver thought he might through there. Cameron then really pushing, but they've got now Gareth right on the back of this battle that's going on for P9. Let's see as we go to Gareth, who's used a lot of energy this lap as he's already ran out of deployment. Cameron then going to try it down the inside into Blanchimont, and he loses it on the curb, and he spins round and he's in the middle of the track. This could be a big collision if he gets collected by someone, but he manages to spin himself out of the way in the nick of time. But I was hearing that there's going to be an aeroplane crash there. He's done well as Cameron to get out of the way, but a big mistake there, taking too much of the inside curb at Blanchimont as he tries to go for a move on Geddes. We've got more yellow flags on the exit of Paul Freire. I think that's typical Swift again, but it's non-stop action off of this safety car restart here in Division 3. I tell you what as well, Jack absolutely flying out front, Rando. 2.9 seconds now out in front and 10 seconds back to Lofty. He's absolutely flying and in a very strong position in this race.
He really is. He's getting that has to hustle. The Flying Fisherman can't seem to close in on him. Grumpy Orange as well, 2.5 seconds back. Maxwell's actually starting to gain on Grumpy Orange. So maybe it's coming to that crossover point where the mediums are starting to respond a bit better now to the forces the drivers want to put them through than the soft tyres. Just looking at Lofty's progress, those overtakes are going to be crucial come the end of the race. Just putting those cars and the space between him and safety
Ferrari
car.
off, sorry Rando. A Ferrari off at Radion, that is Russell. He's binned the car and we have got a safety car. This is big because Jack should be able to pit and come out rather close to Lofty on medium compound tyres. This is massive for the drivers that started on the softs. Basically perfect timing for these guys, and it's really curtains for those hard compound runners or anyone that started on the mediums.
Yeah, would you pit for mediums or hards if you're Jack?
You got to pit for the mediums.
I think so.
They'll last as well.
Yeah,
they'll last easily, and they'll get the advantage. As Grumpy
Maxwell doesn't pit.
They're going into the pits, and Maxwell doesn't pit, but he started on the mediums.
I would have thought he would have gone for
hoping for a safety car later on. So
safe.
Jack comes in. We've got an Alpha Tower with the medium compound tyres out in the pit box as well. It looks as though Jack is going to be pitting for the mediums himself. So they're doing the right thing, both of these guys, as far as strategy is concerned. Flying Lemon, I would just want to mention, having a fantastic race. He is unfortunately going to have to pit and go onto the hards, but he was having a really solid race so far. So Jack does rejoin. He rejoins in P4. There is a car, there's Cowan in between himself and his teammate, but he is P4, looking very quick on medium compound tyres, softer compound tyres than his teammate, who's also on older tyres. I'd say Jack is in probably pole position now to take the victory here, but it's only lap 8. There's still a very long way to go, and hopefully we can have a little bit of a breather, at least for a lap or two, as it has really been non-stop action ever since that safety car restart. Jester then, he pitted for, oh, he started on the medium, sorry, and has stayed out. He has recovered to P10 after that earlier spin, but I kind of have a feeling he might miss a trick there not pitting. Typical Swift has been brought back into play, as has Davio Fav, as they both had incidents earlier on as well. So they've gone on to, Swift's gone onto the hards, Davio Fav's on 3-lap-old hards. Stevo as well, who had that spin out of campus, he's gone on to a set of mediums. So he's kind of been brought back into play a little bit, has the McLaren driver. I guess that is kind of the idea of a safety car. That is what it does, as much as it's the other reasons that a safety car is there. It also does bring all the drivers back together and brings them into play. But yeah, this is really thrown a cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't it, Rando?
Really has. I mean, not quite sure Maxwell's done the right thing here. I'm a big fan of the Scotsman's work, but I feel like this might not be the right call. It's just that he can't really do much from that position. Maybe pull away from Lofty, but he's still going to have to pit. Ultimately, obviously, a safety car, another one, would put the race on its head again. But yeah, it's been non-stop overtakes throughout the pack. Incidents occurring, none of them particularly typical Swift, picking up an unlucky pen on the safety car, trying to catch up. But yeah,
spun, actually as well, right? I think
oh dear me, he's having a not a great race, you know. Still many a lap left, so don't give up yet. Has he broken his wing? I think he might have done. Is he just hot tyres?
He's not. He's just
hot tyres.
Seems to be really struggling with the conditions. But we've got Calvin now in the pits, so he opted not to pit the first time round, but has come in this time. So that's a bit of a costly mistake there for him, because he's going to drop now right to the back of the pack. Poet, and I didn't know it. Maxwell, yeah. I think that probably is the wrong decision to stay out, because effectively any sort of pit stop now is going to drop him well outside of the points, albeit he will be going on to the softs at the end of the race, but if the cars are in a train with the DRS, it's going to be exceedingly difficult to overtake anyway, and yeah, he's basically just going to be putting himself a pit stop behind. So I'm not sure that was the right thing to do. Obviously we love to be proven wrong, so it's definitely not over for him, as typical Swift nearly losing the car up the hill. He's really having a torrid time out there, possibly due to the setup. I know round here the back end can be quite tricky to keep hold of. So then I'd imagine we should be seeing the safety car coming in this lap. The majority of the drivers then will be going to the end on whatever tyres they find themselves on. But we've still got a very long way to go. Still a good 13 laps left. More of the same, please, fellas, because it's been a brilliant race so far, and we're only 9 laps in. And despite the fact that about 5 of the laps have been under safety car, I feel like we've seen more action here than we did. Well, than we have done probably for a lot of the races combined this season. Really putting on a show here for us tonight are the Division 3 drivers. And as well, the other thing with Karen pitting is that released Jack onto the back of his teammate. So now Jack in P3 with his teammate directly in front of him, as they are the two drivers that are really battling it out for the victory here. That's crucial for his race, is that Jack, is that he's now not got to get past Cam before he can attack his teammate. So here we go then. Safety car should be in this lap. Maxwell then is going to lead the pack away, backing everyone up. He's got to try and get the jump on Lofty off of the restart, as he's probably going to leave it as late as possible to go by the looks of things. Lofty kind of trying to get the best run possible out of the bus stop, and he does get a pretty nice run, but Maxwell timed it well, but Lofty right on the back of him there. As we see already, we've got Unreal Salmon having to defend from Charlie, as I wonder if he got a bit out of shape out of the bus stop. We've got a Renault of Jessa having a little look down the inside of Neelix, but we go then to the front of the field. Can Lofty get past the McLaren and Maxwell? He's in the slipstream. He's deploying a lot of his battery up the hill to try and get the run. Maxwell having to cut the corner to avoid coming on in front of the Haas driver. They're going to be going side by side then down into Le Combe, as we go to Jack's POV to see these two battle it out. Maxwell backs out. Lofty ran the outside, as he did to Salmon on lap 1. He does to Maxwell on lap 10 and retakes the lead of the race. And this is crucial now for Jack. Needs to clear Maxwell as soon as possible, as we see a big lock up there from Gareth. Salmon's gotten past Colden as well, and Salmon is well in a very nice position because he's on the fresh medium compound tyres as well, and got Gareth directly ahead on 7-lap old hards. We see Colden there getting a little bit out of shape through No Name. He's got Charlie now on the back of him. Charlie going to try it, I think, through Puon, as Colden going a bit wide there and losing a bit of time. Charlie thought about it but couldn't quite carry the speed through to constitute a move. Runs very wide through campus though, and Neelix having a little look. It's like little sort of piranhas. They're chomping at the bit to try and get past as soon as the driver makes the tiniest little mistake.
We've got
there's already a big
we've
gap.
got salmon. What's next?
Yeah, there's lots of fish jokes going on tonight. We've got big gaps already appearing though. Holding quite a way off of the top few drivers already, as we see now Maxwell and Jack going side by side into the bus stop, and Jack gets the move done, and both drivers synchronise slide out of the bus stop there, struggling on the traction, but Jack has got the job done, got himself up into P2. It's now a Haas 1-2, and this is it. Straight battle for the win to the finish then between the Haas pair. I'm sure Gareth will have something to say about it though, but he's got to clear Maxwell pretty soon.
Let's not count out Unreal Salmon either. He's on those fresh to mediums. So obviously Maxwell's still got to the pits, and it's just him versus Gareth really for what I hate to say is probably going to be P3, because I can't see these Haas drivers slowing up anytime soon, nor will I expect
we got
any team
Renault
orders.
again. Typical Swift's out.
Oh no, he is hating today.
Oh, and we got another safety car. Typical Swift had been struggling all evening with his car, and he's lost it up the hill again, and it's brought out another safety car. We've got 3 safety cars already in this race. God, it's getting a little bit tedious now. But nevertheless, this gives Maxwell then the opportunity to pit, Jester as well the opportunity to pit. Softs can't really make it from here, but the safety car probably won't be in until at least lap 13, in which case they probably can go to the end, and I think they've got to chance it, because going onto the hards at this point for both of them really isn't going to be that worth it. I think you've got to chance it and go on to the softs if I'm Maxwell or if I'm Jester. So hopefully they're listening, and hopefully they do come in and pit. At the very least they pit, but if I were them I would be going on to the softs, because that's really going to be the only way. They've got to make up some ground, because they're both going to drop right to the back of the pack.
Yeah, they really have to, and I think especially maybe I could see them staying out this lap and pitting next lap, just because they're still going to be gaining.
We've got Lofty in. We've got Lofty into the pits. Gareth in as well. So a lot of these hard compound runners coming in by those things. Charlie in as well as Salmon and Jack. Then they're on the fresh medium, so they stay out. Holden as well staying out. Neelix. So both of the Mercedes cars staying out. Jester as well stays out.
Maxwell,
so Jester doesn't take this opportunity to pit. I can't believe that, Rando. I'm not sure what he's doing with the strategy here.
Really hope he's just like making sure his softs are as good as possible, and he's going to pit at the end of this lap so that he has as little time on them as possible. Because the mediums can only do at most probably 15 laps at a stretch, so it's not like he's a long way away from his normal pit window and lap quota anyway. So I'm hoping that he's just doing this lap and then he's going to pit the softs so they're as fresh as possible. I'm shocked by Stott's pit stops, to be honest, especially everyone's favourite Haas driver Lofty. Didn't expect him to pit at all, because he was battling for P1 and 2 legitimately. It wasn't like he lacked the pace on those hard tyres, so
no,
he
definitely
made his life bloody difficult, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean,
P12.
he's given his teammate and Salmon and a whole load of other drivers track position and, you know, a good sort of 7-second advantage. So even if he can get through the traffic relatively quickly, he's going to have a good few seconds to actually get back up to the front too. I think that is probably a little bit of a mistake on his part. And like you say, I'm surprised some of those hard compound runners did pit. You've got Maxwell as well. He obviously had to pit, but he's gone to the softs. But we've got Charlie and Gareth both pitting for the mediums, which is slightly surprising. Giving themselves a lot of work to do. Obviously, it could pay off in the long run, but at face value, it does look like that was perhaps a bit of a mistake. I, for one, wouldn't have pitted if I was in Lofty's position. But obviously, only time will tell whether it was the right call or not. Owen, I guess, somewhat did jinx Lofty, because I did just glance at the chat a minute ago and he said Lofty had won the race now. Of course, that was before the safety car came out. But nevertheless, Lofty definitely giving an advantage to the guys in front of him. Yeah, I hope for Jester's sake he does pit this lap. Because otherwise I can't see him getting anything out of this race unless we get another safety car, which touch wood we won't, because we don't want to see anyone crash. So let's see then if the Renault driver does come into the pits. No, he doesn't just stay out. So I am baffled, it has to be said, as to what the thought process is behind Jester's strategy. As Lemon now pits as well, so another driver coming off of the hard compound tyres to pit.
You're his team boss.
And Maxwell comes back in. So is Maxwell going to come back in and put on another set of mediums here, Rando?
Wouldn't surprise me, actually. No, Maxwell, he's a crafty driver. He'll know that he's fulfilled his quota of doing something on a different tyre. He'll also, I don't think he is particularly confident on his tyre wear. Obviously, it's very hard.
Another set of softs.
Okay, fair enough. Just screw with me and Ham. Don't worry, mate. No worries. I mean, you're Jester's team boss. Any reason why you're staying out on the mediums? What's the thinking? The Renault garage?
I don't know. Oh, Maxwell's just picked up a time penalty under the safety car. That is.
I've done that, so I can't comment.
There. No, I don't know. I'm only messing. I'm sure Jester probably knows what he's doing, but I mean, if I were him, I would have taken that opportunity to effectively get the free pit stop, especially given the amount of drivers that came into pit anyway. He would have found himself still in a relatively decent position, I think. I don't know, to be honest, why he hasn't pitted. So Maxwell has pitted for a fresh set of softs, so just obviously reducing the risk that they won't make it to the end. Lemon as well came in off of his hard compound tyres to go onto the softs. He's hoping that he can score racing points first points of the season, so he can turn the Racing Pointless into the Racing Point and live up to the name. Sprightly as well currently resides in P7, so they're looking, at the moment at least, touch wood, again touching wood, on for some points this evening, but obviously still 8 laps, a long way to go. The safety car should be in this lap and we should be able to get underway again this time. Let's hope we can get more than about 3 laps of racing before we get another stoppage.
One DRS lap.
I like to think the next stoppage we get in this race will be at the end. So then,
yeah,
here we go. Again, for the 3rd time this race, a safety car restart. They've all been relatively clean thus far, and in fact, if you look at that, only 5 drivers with penalties, so it's not been bad on the whole, at least at the moment. So then, we're about to get underway and go racing yet again.
Unreal Challenge Jack.
hit the back of Jack and got a 5-second penalty there. Costly mistake from the AlphaTauri driver, but here we go. And I think Jack might have got a penalty from that as well. I'm not sure, but here we go. Race back underway. It is Jack from Salmon, from Colden, from Neelix, and already Jester getting challenged by Grumpy Orange into turn 1, but Neelix locks up through the source, and it looks as though he's going to be going now side by side with the Renault. A bit of contact made wheel to wheel between the pair of them as they're going to go side by side. Are they through Rouge and Radion? Jester just about getting the position done. Neelix forced wide to avoid a collision between the pair of them, and now Grumpy Orange is going to go side by side with the Mercedes driver into Lecom. Who's going to brake later? Who's going to go for the move? Neelix holds the inside. Grumpy Orange can't fight back, but now he does through the inside, and Neelix left the door wide open, and Grumpy Orange will say thank you very much and slides down the inside there. Sprightly's having a look now on the Mercedes driver down the inside. He gets on the curb, nearly loses the car, does well to keep it in check, but Neelix really under the cosh at the moment as Sprightly gets a good run out of No Name. Is he going to try it into Puon? Surely not. Not quite on this occasion, has to back out, and that really compromised his line. Is now Geddes and Cameron going side by side through Puon. Cameron getting past the Red Bull driver despite being on the harder tyres, and goes very deep into campus, but as does Geddes. It's all really kicking off here. Now Cameron spun on the curb, he's gone, and Geddes and Lofty right in position. Geddes pushes Lofty into the barrier. There's contact made. Lofty's race has gone from bad to worse. He's into the wall. There's more action. There's more collisions. There's more crashes. And now Scott Laney is going for the move on Cowan as well. Out front, it's really kicking off again. Cowan backing off. Laney's going for the move now. And Laney's now on the back of Stevo as well. Through Blanchimont. Stevo trying to cover the inside line by the looks of things into the bus stop. Yes, he does. And Laney trying to go around the outside, but nothing doing there. But again, there's action and there's collisions and there's crashes going on, and God, we need to settle down a little bit, please, fellas. It looks as though Jester's gotten past Colden now as well, but Colden, I think, is going to try and come back at the Renault driver as Lemon and Lofty are now battling out as well in the background. I think Lofty might have escaped without damage despite being really sent into the wall, it has to be said. I'm not sure Geddes perhaps anticipated or saw the Haas driver on his outside, and say it was an unfortunate collision. Colden wasn't able to come back at Jester on this occasion though, and it looks as though Lemon is going to come back at Lofty. Is he? No, he's not. We've got position swap between Laney and Stevo as well. It looks as though Davia Fav might have disconnected.
Yeah, I've just sent an invite.
As he's got the red X above his name, and now Gareth's trying to get past him. They're going to go side by side. Gareth and Davia Fav's AI. Gareth round the outside into No Name, gets the position done, and now Lofty's going to try and get the move done as well. That is a bit of tactical nous there from Lofty to get past as quickly as possible. Getting the move done. He's got the throttle glitch, so I'll try and not stay on him too often. Now Lemon's going to try around the outside of campus on the AlphaTauri driver. Can't quite get it this time, and look at the gap out front. They're really putting it away. Oh, Jack and Salmon as we were pointing back to the back. It looks as though Maxwell's gone now as well. Now we've got Alpha Romeo gone. That's Cameron, and now Salmon's gone, and Salmon has crashed coming out of Blanchimont, and we've got another safety car in this race. And Salmon there, look at that big impact with the wall. They're losing the front left tyre. Has the AlphaTauri driver, he's lost it through Blanchimont, and now Jester does decide to pit, and it's another safety car in this race. I think we've had as much of this race done under the safety car than we have under green flag conditions, but I tell you what, this is just an absolutely cracking race. I'm going to need a lie down for about a week after this one. We got more drivers again into the pits to repair damage and put on fresh tyres and all sorts, and God, this is crazy. Another safety car then. It's Jack still in the lead, but with a time penalty. Colden in P2, but it is a net P1 at the moment, albeit on 13 lap old hard. It's then Grumpy Orange in third. Neelix up into fourth, with Sprightly now up into fifth. So Sprightly stayed out of trouble on that restart and has gained a couple of positions as well. It's then Laney and Stevo who were battling it out for those couple of laps we had of green flag conditions. Laney 6th, Stevo 7th, both on the mediums. Then it's Cowan in 8th on the hards with Charlie and Gareth. They both pitted under the last safety car for fresh mediums, and they find themselves 9th and 10th. It's then Davyfab on 10 lap old hards in 11th, and I think he's not got back into the session yet. And it's then Lemon in 12th on 2 lap old softs. Jester then came out in 13th after pitting finally for some tyres. He's on the fresh softs as well. It's Maxwell 14th, Cameron, Gedders, Lofty both, all three of them, sorry, pitting. Cameron Gedders on softs, Lofty onto mediums. And 3 drivers now out of the race, but boy oh boy, this is thrilling.
It really is. I mean, I don't even think I was as we were about to finish that lap. I was like, okay, so finally time to see how powerful the DRS is. And then I just saw the map turn yellow and salmon in the wall. But my word, it's been absolutely cracking. It almost harked back to the days before DRS, because I think we've only had 1 or 2 laps with DRS enabled. So you're just seeing drivers sending it all over the track, and to be honest, it's incredibly exciting to see. I think your main men to watch
Cameron
out
just
for,
lost it there again.
Jester.
Rando.
Has he?
Yeah, definitely. I think Jester's obviously got some decent pace going off qualifying, and now 13th then on the fresh softs. I think Cameron did just lose it in campus there, because he got passed by both Geddes and Lofty and dropped a little way off the back of the pack there. So I wonder if Cameron did just lose the car there. So he is now back down to P17. That is, I believe, where he started as well. If we bring up the penalties, there you go. So that's a little bit of an insight into them. Got some sort of action in the chat saying that penalties might be taken off. I'm not entirely sure who they're on about, but
probably Jack, I would assume. Was that 5 seconds safety car collision?
Yeah,
he was the leading car, so
yeah.
Usually they would get it removed. You can't come on steroids.
Yeah, if you look at that, the position changes then. All of the top 6 up positions. Grumpy Orange up 9, Sprightly up 14 from where he started, and Calvin up 12. So they've really been the big gainers out of all of the kerfuffle and the hubba bubba that's been going on at the moment. As we're going to have, I think, 5 laps of, hopefully, fingers crossed, toes crossed. I've got a rabbit's foot touching wood. Got a 4-leaf clover as well. We get clean racing now to the end of the race.
Yeah, I mean,
as
can't predict this, can you? I mean, I wouldn't have predicted this with safety cars.
Who did I say was going to win? Gareth, wasn't it?
Yeah. I
said Gareth, Jester, and then I said Unreal Salmon. So I can't be right on that one. Good, yeah. Tense race so far, definitely. Most definitely it's been a tense race. I'm definitely going to need a lie down after this one. Right then, hopefully we'll be back underway this lap, and I'll be put back into some sort of heart attack, trying to keep up with all the action that's been going on, because I'll tell you what, there's been action throughout the field, so I have struggled a little bit to keep up with it. But here we go then. Hopefully we'll have the safety car in this lap, so I'll have to quickly finish these M&Ms again. Also, Maxwell's just had a collision as well with Gedders under the safety car.
It is indeed in this lap. Mr. Mylander can go away now. We can let the cars get underway. I think it's going to be interesting what the soft runners can do. I can see Jester and Max are just trying to charge through this hard and medium pack in front of them, and Colden and Jack and Grumpy and Gareth just trying to cling on to the positions they have on the harder compound of tyre.
Yeah, they're really going to have to get a move on are the guys that pitted for the softs, because, well, there's only going to be 5 laps of racing when we get underway. It is effectively now a 5-lap lobby, albeit the tyres and other factors perhaps don't quite make that the case, but we are going to have basically a 5-lap sprint race then to the end, as Jack is going to get us underway out of the bus stop. So here we go then. He gets a good launch out of the bus stop, and already, look at that, look at the power he lays down there and pulls away from the Mercedes of Colden. Colden's going to have to try and sit with him, but it's going to be a tall order on 15-lap old hards. We've got a bit of action going on behind Sprightly and Neelix going side by side here. Sprightly looking to make up another position, but Neelix holds on up the hill for now. Sprightly, though, I think is going to look to come back at him here. Let's see, we've gone on board with Laney as he's got the perfect view for this battle. Is Sprightly going to go for it? He goes to the inside into Lecombe. Is he going to go for it down the inside? No, he's not. Covers it off well does the Mercedes of Neelix. And look at this. They're all trying to get their way through. Your Fab still hasn't joined back. So
Yeah,
his AI
internet
is driving.
is down. He's told me.
Oh, and Charlie nearly hitting the back of Gowan there. That was so close between the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo. And Gareth tried to be a bit cheeky there and get the move on the Ferrari, but he couldn't do it this time. Oh, but look at that. Nearly again. Another car nearly hitting the back. Charlie nearly hitting the back of Cowan again.
Just getting past Dav's AI through Blanchimont. That's pretty impressive. Go on, sorry.
Maxwell having a look on it as well into Campus, and now getting a bit out of shape, and Geddes is going for it. This is what I mean about like little piranhas sort of chomping a little mistake, or just a driver getting a little bit offline. There's one right behind him going for the move, being really ambitious with these overtaking opportunities that are presented here. As Gareth, look at this, flies past Charlie down into Blanchimont. He's got him already before they even get to the corner. Gareth's got some serious straight line speed as he now has a look down the inside of Cowan, but it's very early there. Steve-O getting past him, I believe, as Charlie's lost out then a position to the Williams, but it is Jack with a 2.5 second lead already. I guess as far as Colden's concerned, he has got a 5-second penalty, so he doesn't actually need to be right with him. But I think the general sort of rumbling in the chat is that could be removed. We'll obviously have to wait and see though with that one. Sprightly then still on the back of Neelix. Is he going to be able to do it this time round? Doesn't look like it on this occasion either. Maybe just waiting for a bit of DRS to be activated before he goes to the move. We've got Gareth and Charlie by the looks of things. And we go to Gareth and he's in the wall. What is going on? Gareth then now, the next driver into the wall. Has he got any damage? No, he somehow escaped without any serious damage. Both end plates still intact. I can't believe that, because that was a massive tank slapper into the wall for the Williams driver. So that's now put Lemon up into the points. So Racing Point at the moment, no points for this season. They're on for 11 at least at the moment. Before, of course, penalties are taken into account. Charlie still right on the back of Cam. So Gareth's mistake has re-released Charlie to challenge the Alfa Romeo again. Came into contact a couple of times on the previous lap. Daviafab's AI really holding up Maxwell and the drivers behind as they just can't get past it. So Charlie then, is he going to go for a move into the bus stop? It doesn't look like he's going to be close enough. Jester though right on the back of Lemon.
Oh, Maxwell's trying to get
he can't on this occasion. And Cowan spun as well. And Jester's hit the back of Lemon because Cowan spun. And now he's trying to pit and Cowan's hit him. And we've got a massive crash as well. Maxwell's lost the car out of Blanchimont. Again, it's all kicking off at once. Geddes then trying to go for it on Daviafab's AI into the source. Round the outside he goes. And he nearly loses the car in traction. So I think it was Cowan who made contact or spun, sorry. Lemon then had to slow down. Jester hit the back of him, and then they both tried to pit, did Jester and Cowan, and they kind of made contact in the process. So Jester has pitted. Cowan then had to kind of stay out as he was sort of forced to, with Jester pitting in front of him, and he's really lost out now, and Jester has as well. So doesn't look like there's going to be any points this evening for them. Jack now with a 4-second lead, so he could get the gap even without the need to take the penalty off to Colden. Grumpy Orange and currently lying P3. Excuse me, with Neelix in 4th. Sprightly then still in 5th. But it's Scott Laney and Steve-O 6th and 7th. They've been right with each other all race, it would seem. Lemon then up into 9th now. Geddes then back into 10th as well.
I feel bad for Maxwell, to be fair. Through Blanchimont, trying to get past Daviafab's AI and just lost it. Couldn't really save it. I know he's on the pad and he got quite unlucky, but Gareth is now going for a move exactly where Maxwell crashed. Is he going to succumb to the same fate of the McLaren driver? Nearly. But yeah, it's pretty manic all over the shop, to be honest. The Scott Laney now closing up. We get Sprightly. Oh, what a race.
Yeah, so this battle then at least for P3 or P4, is definitely not over just yet. We've got 2 laps remaining of what has been a manic Belgian Grand Prix here in SLR Division 3. It looks as though Grumpy Orange might be having a go at Colden into Lecombe. Goes to the outside line, tries to go for it around the outside of the Mercedes, but he couldn't quite get the grip, but he tries it down the inside at the exit of Lecombe, and he gets tapped round and spun, does Grumpy Orange. And now Scott Laney having a look at Sprightly, and Sprightly breaks late and nearly hits the back of Neelix. Orange then went for the gap, and it just got closed at the last second by Colden. Contact was made and he got spun, and that's his chance of points now probably gone as well. Sprightly then on the back of Neelix still. He could be on for a podium here, and that would be a turn up for the books should he get onto the podium, considering the Racing Point team is yet to have points scored for them this season. Nice jinx indeed. I'll wait for that to happen now.
Ooh. Gareth closing up the back of Cosmic Cameron now in a train with Geddes. They could be battling come the end of the race. There's a flying lemon on Charlie. There's battles all over the shop.
Just picks up a penalty. Does Lemon, but he's still looking like he's going to go for the move on Charlie. Charlie's got the red light flashing, which indicates that his ERS deployment is below 10%. Trying to have a go around the outside of Bonchemont was Lemon, but Charlie covered the middle of the track off and he couldn't quite get past on this occasion, could the Racing Point driver. So on this occasion he's going to have to sit behind and go for it again, as Sprightly getting a little bit loose out of the bus stop.
Really close.
And Sprightly and Neelix battling it out then for P3. Sprightly's going to get the DRS up the Kemmel straight. This is his moment. Car getting a little bit loose up the hill. Neelix and Sprightly both got no battery left, and it just looks as though he's got not enough straight line speed, does the Racing Point driver, compared to Neelix's Mercedes, and he can't get past him here, and he's only going to have basically one more opportunity, and that's going to be down into the bus stop. Jack has pulled over a 5-second gap to Colden, so as it stands he's going to get the win, but Neelix locks up, and Sprightly possibly had an opportunity there, but he really would have had to send his car down the inside. It would have been a big risk, and it's a risk that you probably don't want to take at this point of the race. Through pull on they go, then Sprightly runs wide and picks up a penalty, so I have jinxed him, but it shouldn't affect him too much because every driver behind him has a penalty as well, so he should probably keep hold of P4 at least post, or at least for now, post race. Obviously that could change. We've got Cameron hounding the back of Gareth for the final points playing position. There's battles going on everywhere, and the order is definitely not decided just yet. But I tell you one thing that definitely is decided, and that is the race winner this evening. It's going to be Jack in the Haas to take victory here in Belgium. He survived the chaos to take victories. Grumpy Orange has spun again out of Stabilo. Holden comes home second with Neelix third to make it a Mercedes 2-3. Sprightly is fourth. Scott Laney fifth. Steve-O sixth. Charlie is seventh. Lemon eighth. Geddes is ninth, but goes up to P8, and Lemon drops down to P10 with Cameron in 11th. But I tell you what, Racing Point then, without a point yet this season, now have 13 in the space of about an hour and a half. Lofty comes home 13th. It's a race of what could have been for the other Haas driver, who sees his teammate take the checkered flag. A driver that was in the lead of the race at the end of the first lap. Grumpy Orange just lost it again out of the bus stop.
Just doing donuts.
Is Callum going to beat him to the line? Who's going to get the wooden spoon? It is, listen, it's going to be Grumpy Orange. But what a race that was. And what a drive from Jack to take victory. We didn't see much of him at the end, but that's because he did his job. He kept it clean, and he kept the car in one piece and took home the victory. Sprightly gets driver of the day from the game, and it looks as though everyone is pretty much giving Sprightly driver of the day, although it's a relatively split opinion actually at the moment. But brilliant race that was. Hopefully we can get the top three in the party, and we can get at least a little bit of an insight as to what it was like driving in that one. But there you have it. Jack C GB27 in the Haas is your winner here in the Belgian Grand Prix for SLR Division 3. He's joined on the podium by the Mercedes duo of Colden and Neelitz. Brilliant drives from the pair of them to take second and third. Sprightly gets fourth, which is a fantastic effort considering he started 19th and didn't even set a lap in qualifying, with Scott Laney coming home P5, so he's up 5 as well off the start. Stevo comes home 6th, a very solid race from him and some more points for the McLaren team, with Charlie in 7th. Gareth comes home 8th after stopping a couple of times in the end, off second on the grid. Geddes comes home P9 to take a couple of points, and Flying Lemon takes a point as well. So now every driver this season as well does have at least 1 point, so that's fantastic news. But there you go, we've got a few of the drivers now into the party, so I will hand you over to the very capable hands of Rando to conduct the podium interviews.
Thank you, mate. Have you all ticked your boxes, just in case you haven't?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. We'll start with Mr. P3, Neelix. P8 on the grid. I'm sure you weren't thinking of a podium to begin with. Very few people do from P8, and after what was an incredibly chaotic race, there you are, comfortably crossing the line in P3. How do you think it went from your point of view?
It couldn't have gone much better, to be honest with you. P3, gone P2. Well done to Jack as well. Yeah, awesome. To be honest, if we didn't have Zydrad, Panther and Dylan sort of calling the shots, I'm not sure we would have finished there. But yeah, great strategy calls from those guys. Managed to keep it on the track, managed to not spin out for a change. Yeah, Mercedes 2-3, awesome, good. Great weekend for us so far.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a great drive from you. I know that Zydrad, Dylan and Panther can be quite the engineers when they needed to be. Just going back to quali, obviously I know P8 isn't probably what you wanted. Were you caught a bit off guard by the rain? Because I know in the comms box, Ham was just going through who he thought the top 3 was, and I just noticed it was pouring with rain. Did it catch you off guard at all?
No, well, it was probably too much for my skill set, to be honest. I had no traction on slick tyres and all that track. So it's like an awful combination, really. But hey, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, 5 places up from where you started still was a great result. And podium's even sweeter, so I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, mate, you drove class. Really well done.
Awesome. Cheers, boy.
Moving on to your teammate, Mr. Colden. Oh, mate, I am happy to see you up on the podium. Can't lie, no bias.
I'm so happy
yeah.
to finally get back onto this place where I belong.
Oh, mate, just going to let you describe it for your own
Wow,
words.
I don't know if I can, mate. After many, many weeks of feel like everything's against you, you just got to put that shifted. And with the team that I've got behind us, me and Neelix, congratulations to Jack, the winner. Unfortunately, I wish he wasn't reserved. He hadn't entered today because I would have got my first win. But we won't go there. No, congratulations. But mate, after many weeks of absolutely wheel turning off and all that kind of stuff to get back to P2, mate, this is where I need to be.
Yeah, mate, you drove really well. Were you confident the whole race? 'Cause I know that it wasn't always the easiest of races on safety cars to contend with.
The last 7 weeks, I'm going to be confident. Probably not. But thanks to you for even telling me about the new glitch in the steering wheel. So,
Oh yeah, overtaken DRS.
mate, I'm not confident, but I'm here to compete. I'm here to want to be at the top with the guys. And for me, the PT, to me, yes, still the first loser. But it's massive still for all of the bad times you go through. We all go through bad times. We all struggle with bad luck. But you know what? The hard work does pay off. And it's great to see a P2 and a P3 for that Mercedes. So yes, we are coming for you. When I don't think you're getting away with this yet. We are still coming for you.
Oh, emotional stuff, Colden. I remember you in DNF Clan back in all that time ago.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no, really well done, mate.
Thanks, boys.
Finally, last, but very much not least, nor the last on track, Mr. Jack, CGB27. I think your friends are Bennett, I'm pretty sure. Mate, cracking job. mate, I can't really fault you, to be honest, but your own words, your first victory in SLR on debut, massive flex. How did it go from your point of view?
Well, I didn't know I was racing until the lobby was about to get started, until 10-2, and of course qualifying. I I started P3 is because I think it was mainly due to going out first, one of the first in Q3. I was shocked to get out of Q1, really. Even being P3, I would be happy to get in the points in this race. Obviously the penalty I had was I could get removed, but I don't need to anymore. And yeah, it's my first league race win. Very happy with that.
Give two.
Oh, honestly, Colin, cry more.
No,
No, mate, you drove really well. I know it wasn't always. I mean, it looked pretty bloody hectic. I mean, you don't normally get, was it 4 or 5 safety cars? So it definitely wasn't a normal race for your first one. I was watching you. I'm assuming you weren't in a party with Lofty at the time. And if push came to shove, you never ended up fighting wheel to wheel, really. But I'm assuming you were more than happy to fight him wheel to wheel for the win, right?
I wasn't in a party with anyone.
Didn't think you were. To no team orders at Haas.
No, I knew that he was the only driver in the championship because I can't get points, I'm only a member at the minute, but I'm really happy to.
Honestly, mate, I'm glad you're chuffed. You drove incredibly well. I'm sure Bennett will be proud of you.
I hope so.
Oh no, mate, class job on debut, fat dub, really well done, well driven, and I'm pretty sure that's to be a wrap from Belgium. Yeah, all three of you really well driven. It was an exciting race. I know Ham and I loved it from up here in the commentary box. It's been a long one, over 2 hours, but I think it was worth it. Ham, anything else to say?
I'd just say, yeah, fantastic race. Definitely a day off. Yeah, brilliant from the top three, and as well Sprightly, who got driver of the day rather overwhelmingly by the looks of things in the end. So massive congratulations to him as well for his first points of the season. But yeah, I mean, here's hoping tomorrow's race as well is equally as entertaining, but hopefully not quite as chaotic. But yeah, nevertheless, a fantastic race this evening from start to finish. It had action, it had chaos. And it was just brilliant. Really enjoyed it, and really enjoyed as well sharing the comms box with yourself, Rando, mate.
Oh, you make me blush, mate. Honestly, no, I enjoy. All the same to you.
But yeah, I think that'll do us for this evening then. I'm gonna have a lie down now, I reckon, after that one. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you all for watching, and thank you as well to all the drivers for making it another fantastic race here in SLR this evening. Be sure to join us tomorrow to see myself and Rando out on track in the Elite Division for our race at Belgium. But as for this evening, that is all we've got time for. Thank you all for watching, and good night.
Thank you.